Grandma got run over by a reindeer, walking home from our house Christmas Eve.
Maybe if they sang something good, they would have seen their next Christmas. Oh hey, you're just in time to see me open up my present. Ah, there it is. Oh, right. I decided to give those elves a break, so I asked for a ticket to Thailand instead. They would have lost their minds with my demands. Plus, hunting down my own gifts is a bit more fun where I'm going, and I won't have to massacre anybody while shopping there. If only those carolers knew. Well then, I'll be on my way.
Later.
So, you like malls? Well, I hope you said the same, but sadly, malls in the West are slowly dying. What's more dead, your local mall or a whale carcass? Well, one's got an FYE that hasn't closed yet, so there's something. But this one's got isopods in it! However, what if I told you that there's a place where malls are not only abundant, but are also alive and thriving? That's right, I'm talking about the Kingdom of Thailand. You see, for many years, I've been absolutely spoiled by the sheer amount and spectacle of Thai malls, more specifically in Bangkok, which there seems to be absolutely no shortage of. No matter where you go, there will be a mall within your general proximity. So you might be thinking to yourself, well, if there's so many, then which one should I visit? Not to worry, you little tard. I've gone ahead and picked a few to recommend. Now, picking these was not easy, not only because there's so many to choose from, but also because I was busy enjoying them myself. A lot of these malls are very active and happening places, so I wanted to share some with you today. Now, before we go any further, there are a few things I want to go over. Firstly, this is not a complete walkthrough of each mall. I'll be providing highlights of each mall, as going through the entirety of each of them would have taken a large chunk of my trip. Secondly, before going over each mall, it'd be best if I showed you the best way of getting to each one. This is the BTS and MRT map, otherwise known as Spino's territorial routes. These are the two main train systems of Bangkok, the BTS being the SkyTrain system, and the MRT being the subway system. These two essentially act like the fast travel of Bangkok, much faster than a taxi or a tuk-tuk. You can hop from one station to another that's miles apart in only a few minutes. Plus, it beats out the traffic too. Many of the malls that I'll be covering are either connected to or are near one of these train systems, so I'll be bringing up which stations they're connected to. Also, if you plan on taking any photos or videos of any of the malls featured, please ask permission before doing so. Some places in Thailand won't allow you to record unless asked, which is what I did. In fact, there were some malls that I wanted to include in this video but couldn't because I couldn't get permission to film there, so please be mindful before doing so. With that being said, let's do a little mall maxing. Have you ever walked into a mall and thought to yourself, man, I wish I was Pitbull, because I want to be called Mr. Worldwide? Well, do I have news for you. This is Terminal 21, a mall with the whole world in it. To get there, you can either take the BTS by getting off of a Sok, or take the MRT by getting off of Sukhumvit. This MRT station also has its own mall, called a Metro Mall. Metro Malls are subway malls that are located in a few MRT stations. I'll talk about them briefly if an MRT station has one, as they don't have as much as the malls above them. Now, the Metro Mall in Sukhumvit used to have many stores, including some anime and model kit stores, but they got replaced with restaurants and cafes, which upsets me greatly. Unfortunately, I didn't get that many photos of the place from the past and present. And that's really about it for them. If you need to grab something to eat after your train ride, then stop by here. Just remember what they took from you. Now, going back to Terminal 21, once you enter it, you'll be treated to the mall's theme. Floors representing a certain country acting as airport terminals, hence its name. The Caribbean floor has a few restaurants and a supermarket. The Rome floor has some Western stores, such as Levi's and American Eagle Outfitters. And the Tokyo floor is designed like a Japanese street, filled with women's clothing. But there are some floors that did confuse me with their placement and what they were selling. Take, for example, the London floor in this red double-decker bus. It's a toy store filled with Takara Tomy products, which is a company from Japan. And then there's the flagship Tamashii Nation store that's located on the same floor, which is also a company from Japan. Which makes me wonder, why not have these stores on the Tokyo floor? Why not have stores from the countries they represent? Oh, and there was another toy store that sold Booba mouse pads. No, I didn't buy any of them. And then you have the Istanbul floor, where the stores are a bit more randomized. They range from a whole row of nail salons to an Egyptian-themed jewelry store. There's also a giant night piece here too. The store placement at this mall confuses me. Well, fortunately, these next few floors are a bit more coherent. San Francisco has two floors that are the mall's food courts. Have you ever wanted to eat in a cable car? Well, I hope you're not afraid of heights. Taking up the 2 floors is a large model of the Golden Gate Bridge, all held up by one guy. Would you trust this man with your life? Nearby, there's a large statue of an Oscar award, which leads us to the final floor, Hollywood, otherwise known as the movie theater. Oh, who would have guessed? It even has some tech shops there too. Fun fact, before these shops popped up, they had plenty of arcade games. I even made it on top of the high scores. Eventually, they were swapped out for coin-operated game consoles, in which you pay a certain amount of money to play Xbox or PlayStation games. Now, the arcade games are still around, but they've been moved to the second San Francisco floor, which is below the Hollywood one. Now, do I recommend this mall? Well, yeah, it's not a bad mall. Its theme is a great attraction for tourists, but in my opinion, in terms of my own interests, it doesn't really do it for me. I only go there to either look around, get a bite to eat, or catch a flick. Terminal 21 is a mall that I believe works best if you're a woman, as the floors are primarily focused on fashion. There's not a lot of shops dedicated to, you know, the boys. But if you want a mall to start off with, then I suggest this one. Hey you! Are you rich? Do you not know where to spend your money? Do you not want your money to be eaten by an African orphan? Well, might I introduce you to Central World? To get there, just take the BTS to Chitlom. Once there, you'll have to walk on a bridge through the Ratchapaksong district. Now this district itself is full of many other luxury malls, but the one we'll be going over is, in fact, the 9th largest shopping complex in the world. And oh boy, this is where things begin to really take off. Once inside, your eyes will be assaulted with an array of stores, such as this H&M, that comes with a coffee shop and a home decor section. There's an Apple store, a Nike store, an ice skating rink, a Sephora, a Bath & Body Works, a shop full of teddy bears, and whatever artsy fashion shop this is. I've stared into the abyss, but it won't stare back at me. They also have a Japanese themed section called Nippon Market that sells Japanese food. Fun fact, while recording the footage for this, they played Mixed Nuts, the first and best Spy X Family opening, over the speakers. That was pretty cool. I also bought some dango. It was really good. They even had a homemade chocolate vending machine there too. I tried it. It was alright. But we've still got a lot more to cover. This is PowerBuy x B2S. PowerBuy is an electric and appliance store, and B2S is a book and art supply store. So think of this as a combination of a Best Buy, a Joann's Fabrics, and a Barnes & Noble. On one side, you've got shelves upon shelves of books, art supplies, stationery goods, and on the other, you've got computers, game consoles, and kitchen appliances.
I love refrigerators.
They even have a Pokemon section. Moving on to some other stores that'll grab your eye, we've got Boomerang, one of the last few DVD stores in Thailand that I know of. I used to love going to these stores and looking for dinosaur documentaries from them, but like the stores in the West, they too are dying out. Unless you count pirated movie stands. But let me ask you this, were the books at B2S not enough for you? Would you like to be overwhelmed with books? Well, might I introduce you to the Japanese bookstore Kinokuniya. They've got a wide selection of books in Japanese, Thai, and English. Oh, what's that? You want to weeb out and are only in it for the manga? Oh, okay. Everything you see in this shot is manga. In fact, it's not just manga they've got. They have other stuff like Genshin Impact, Tokusatsu merch, and many volumes of Fate Grand Order material. What the heck is up with Fate? Is it really that complicated? I thought it was about various historical figures as anime women. Speaking of things that should be dead but still kicking, Toys R Us is still alive here, and you can roll some gachas. They even got a mini animatronic T-Rex there too. I think it's neat. But let me ask you this. After wandering around for so long, do you hunger? Fortunately for you, the lower level has a food court, the 6th floor has loads of restaurants, the top floor also has a food court, and even a supermarket. So unless you're broke, you will not starve here. Well, if you couldn't tell by now, Central World is a very large mall with plenty to see. However, this place does have 2 problems. One is that it's very difficult to navigate. It can feel like a bit of a maze if you don't know where you're going. You might end up in a fork in the road. Despite this, as strange as it sounds, I recommend walking around the mall aimlessly. In fact, that's how I was able to find Nippon Market for the first time. It was just by chance. When I go there, there's actually not a lot of things for me to do there, as I only go to a few stores, like the Toys R Us. And even then, I still have some difficulty trying to find it. Another problem is, this mall might not be the most budget-friendly of the whole lineup, as it contains a lot of high-end shops. So just make sure to keep an eye on your wallet while you go there. there. It's still a place that I highly recommend. But we're not done just yet. I'd be doing a huge disservice if I didn't include this. Just across the street is Big C, a large supermarket chain in Thailand. There isn't as much stuff there as Central World, but there's a lot to talk about, so this section will be a bit shorter. Plus, there aren't as many floors as Central World, so I'll be going over them one by one. The first floor has some shops and a few restaurants. It even has a mini Big C. Yes, mini Big C's are a thing in Thailand. They're more like convenience stores. It's like if Walmart had their own line of convenience stores. Oh wait, those actually exist. The floor below it is a parking lot with a few shops there too. Fun fact, there used to be an arcade here, and I miss it dearly. The second floor is the grocery level. This is where you can buy some food to bring back to your hotel room. They've got Snack World and Confectionery World. Aren't those the same thing? But they have something here that a lot of other malls should have. Flat escalators. Not only are they really convenient, but they're also very fun to stand on. I get very overjoyed when I see one. The third floor is more for appliances, clothing, and other stuff. And the last floor is the food court level. Now, there are a few additional floors above it, but it's a bit bizarre. So this empty space used to be a McDonald's, more specifically a McCafe. Oh hey, I even have some old photos of it too. I wasn't able to find any photos I took of it while it was still open, but I remember I really liked it there. It was interesting seeing it, because there's another McDonald's downstairs, but I don't know why they closed this one. Now I believe this floor is for education provided by McDonald's, which is why there are what look to be tutoring centers here. What's weirder is that there's a floor that leads you into what seemingly looks like a void. The elevator was blocked in that shot, but I also have some photos of what it looked like too. It's a liminal space. Yeah, the scary part is even I don't know what was up there before it was closed off. But putting that aside, if you're in the area, I highly suggest stopping by Big C. It's much easier on the wallet and it's a great place for groceries. Jettajat Market, the largest market in Thailand. Spending an entire day there wouldn't be enough to visit every single vendor. There are plenty of shops here, ranging from clothing and apparel to souvenirs. You might as well call this Alice's restaurant, because you can get anything you want. Just don't litter while you're there. Now, I'm not all too familiar with the history of the place, but somewhere along the line, some chuckle schmuck looked at it and thought to himself that there should be some malls here. The market just wasn't enough. Now there are multiple malls within the area. It's insane! But to narrow things down a bit, I'll be showing you just one of them, called Mixed. To get there and the market, you can either take the BTS to Mochit or take the MRT. Now, there are two stations that'll lead you into Jettajat Market. The first being the station that's labeled as Jettajat Park, and the other that leads you right into the market itself is called Kampan Pet. Both of these MRT stations have metro malls in them. Jettajat Park's metro mall has much more than Sukhumvit's. However, it suffers the same problem it has, replacing cool stores with restaurants. They used to have anime shops and even card shops too, but they're all gone now. Well, at least the pizza place I ate over there was good. However, the other metro mall at Kampan Pet was closed when I went to it, probably because I went there during the weekday. The market and shops are active during the weekend, hence the reason why they're called weekend markets.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm kind of retarded.
Well, that explains a lot. Now, getting into Mixed, there's a lot here. They've got two pet shops, one for reptiles and one for dogs. Look at them being adorable. They've got some furniture shops, clothing, an art gallery, and a 100 baht shop, which is like the equivalent of a dollar store, except it looks cooler in my opinion. There's also a 7-Eleven you can dine outside of, but that's just the first floor. The second floor is my favorite. Almost the entire floor is full of figures, ranging from anime to mecha, and oh boy, there's a lot of mecha here, ranging from Gundam to Transformers. Wait, is Transformers mecha? You'll be spending a lot of your time scrutinizing everything in these display cases. The crazy part about this is, there weren't a lot of these kinds of shops before. The last time I went, there were only 2 or 3 of these shops. Now there's so much more to look at, such as Mondo Loop that sells old Japanese games, consoles, and cards, and a shop that's more oriented towards anime for women. I can tell it's for women because I'm being flashbanged by pink. The third floor contains the food court, where the seats are swings. Now there's one section of the floor that's kind of weird. The second half of the floor has a hall of artificial flowers, which feels like a backrooms level. It feels so out of place when you reach there. I don't think about these kinds of stores because they don't cross my mind. Who buys these? Just buy a normal plant to neglect. It even has such oddities as golden flowers. Did King Midas touch these? And for those into silver, well, they got them too. Were these dipped in adamantium? Why are they chromed out?
Everything is chrome in the future.
So overall, this mall is pretty neat. Not only do you have plenty of places to shop at, but you also have the market surrounding it too. As for me, I've spent hours walking around the second floor to look at the figures on display. If you're looking for a place for non-stop shopping, then I highly recommend both Mixed and Jettajat Market too. You won't leave there empty-handed. Hey guys, editing and post-Spino here. If the audio sounds off in this next part, it might be because something went wrong with the noise reduction. I don't know how it happened or how to properly fix it, but it still sounded audible, so I just wanted to bring that up. It's a bit unfortunate because I really liked editing this part the most, but anyways, let's continue with the video. Our next stop is a place that I've known for a while. In fact, I've been going there for years. It's called MBK. To get there, you'll need to take the BTS to National Stadium on the Cerulean line, and to get to the Cerulean line, go to Siam, as it's the only station that connects both it and the Sukhumvit line. MBK is filled with many shops and restaurants, including a floor that's dedicated to tech. You can get pretty much any tech-related equipment up there. It also has a section at the other end of it that's just empty. Now here's the deal. I wasn't able to get a lot of footage of the place because not only is this mall very large, but also because of the actual contents of the shops. More specifically, the souvenir shops. You see, the problem is that some of them sell products that I can't show you without getting in trouble with YouTube. The worst part is that even if I did get footage of them, I'd have to double check to see if I caught anything. You might be asking what it is. Well, let's just say it's very suggestive. It's like if you went into a souvenir shop that had some stuff mixed in from a Spencer's. So with that being said, I'll be going over 3 places that might catch your interest, which just so happen to all be from Japan. The first is Dun Dun Doki. Don Quixote is a famous Japanese chain of discount stores, but it's called Dun Dun Doki internationally. Fun fact, before it became Dun Dun Doki, it was another store known as Tokyo. Now I unfortunately wasn't able to get any footage for it, but I was allowed to take some photos. Now I know what you might be thinking, and yes, it is overly stimulating. There are a lot of Japanese imports here, and it can be hard to tell where everything is because there's so much to look at. Fortunately, I was able to find the anime section, where they've got statues and model kits of Pokemon and Gundams. They also have some Japanese oddities, like a fish purse and long marshmallows. I laughed harder than I should have when I found these, and I regret not buying them. As you leave to go into the mall itself, you can stop by to chill and roll some gachas. I didn't roll for any, but I did get some snacks. They were pretty good. Oh right, I almost forgot. I hope you like listening to jingles, because theirs is the only thing that plays throughout the speakers. Good luck not going crazy. The next highlight are maid cafes. Yes, maid cafes exist here. There used to be only one on the top floor called Maid Dreamin', but now there's another location on the second floor, and another cafe called Cybar Planet on the same floor as the first Maid Dreamin'. They even have their own VTuber. I wonder how they work things out on the top floor without turning the whole place into a scene from Akiba Maid War. Now, you might be asking yourself, Spino, you degenerate weeb, did you go into any of them?
Yeah, I'm not going in there.
Joke's on you, I didn't go into a single one. Not only are they expensive, but you can get charged for taking photos and videos of the place, including the maids. The advice I was given, and what I'll give to you, is don't go there for the food, go there for the experience. The last highlight of MBK is Animate, an anime chain store. Now before I get into talking about it, let me give you a bit of a history on anime shops at MBK. Before on the 6th floor, there were some really good anime shops that sold not only anime stuff, but also some kaiju stuff and old game consoles. Sadly, like the Metro Mall stores at the MRT, most of them were replaced, not by restaurants, but by tutoring centers. Yeah, they've got a lot of them here. And before Animate was around, it was a 3D art gallery. Now as for the store itself, it's far better than any of the anime stores I've been to in the US. When you walk in, you're greeted with aisles full of manga. They've got walls full of figures, one full of idol merch, and one is full of artwork. I'm not sure how true this is, but I believe these were drawn by the mangakas of their respective works. However, this is just me speculating, so take this with a grain of salt. But wait, there's more. They've also got other stuff, like Vocaloid, Honkai Star Rail, and Genshin Impact. Just buy your waifu here. No need to gamble. There's also something here that you just can't escape from. Well, aside from Gunplas. They're also everywhere. There's even a Gunpla shop across from the store. Nah, I'm talking about HoloLive. Yeah, so Thailand is what I like to call a HoloLive occupied space, which is a way of me saying that they're really big over there. In fact, I saw some Pakora graffiti on my way there, and they've got a whole aisle for her and the other talents. I unfortunately don't get the hype for them because I'm not into idols. Like, I don't know what an AKB-48 is. That sounds like a gun. I'm also not too familiar with their culture. What, do I have to wave a glow stick during a concert? Hey guys, look, I'm a deadbeat now! Yeah, you see, I like my VTubers mentally ill or unhinged, who just so happen to view HoloLive members as the equivalent of gods. No, seriously, ask any Chuckle Schmuck VTuber who their favorite VTuber is, and chances are, they're gonna say a HoloLive member. However, I am betting that some VTubers might bash me over the head for not knowing anything about idol culture. But if Hololive ain't your thing, they also have a Ninja Sanji aisle. And of course, by the time you buy merch of your favorite VTuber, they'll already have graduated or terminated. After all, I've seen dragons turn into birds before, and it's crazy to see it happen again. There may not be black in a rainbow, but all rainbows turn black eventually. Anyways, outside of the store, you can grab a cup of coffee at the Animate Cafe, roll some gachas, or play some Japanese arcade games. There's also another, much larger arcade where you can win a Lapras plushie. Will you save him? So overall, MBK is a pretty great mall. The sad thing is that the shops I like are no longer around, but I still like going there. It's a fun place to window shop and to just walk around in general. If you're interested in looking for souvenirs or want to take a look at some Japanese stores, then go check it out. It's another place that I highly recommend. Alright, I've saved the best for last. Remember the second floor of Mixed? Well, what if I told you that there is an entire mall that's just like that? Allow me to introduce you to Mega Plaza. To get there, take the MRT to Samyot, and it's not too far from the station. Once there, you'll have entered an otaku's paradise, with an included McDonald's. What makes it an otaku's paradise? Well, let's go down the list, shall we? They've got Legos, cameras, retro video games, Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh cards, BB guns, and loads of figures and collectibles from any kind of anime, movie, or video game you can think of. There's even a statue of the Hulk and the Hulkbuster hanging from above. The thing I love about this place is you can look at an entire display case once, come back the next day, look at the same exact display case, and still find something new. And you want to know the best part? Almost all of the floors are like this. So you could come by every day of the week to check each floor day by day. And you'll have plenty of time on your hands as they're open for over 9 hours. Just don't lose yourself while you're here. The floors do look alike. I've spent hours there looking around to see what figures to hunt for, and I barely left there empty-handed. Once you're done, you can eat at the top floor's food court, and it has a nice view. I ordered some hot dogs, but they put it in a soup. What on earth did I order? Well anyways, I've been going there for years and I've scored plenty of figures. Actually, why don't I show you what I got myself? I bought some anime figures, Godzilla figures, my Earthrise Optimus Prime figure, and an original Kenner Triceratops. In fact, because of how much fun I was having, I actually couldn't get a lot of footage of the place, and what I got just doesn't give it justice. The one thing I should warn you about before going is that some of the figures that they sell might be bootlegs. They do sell a lot of legitimate items, but some shops sell bootlegs mixed in too. So, unless you have a good eye, just be careful with what you buy. But other than that, this is a place that I highly recommend for anyone looking for figures, or is just a fan of anime. I've gone there plenty of times and spent hours there. It's a great place for a great haul. And with that, our mall hopping journey has come to an end. There were a lot of other malls that I wasn't able to get to, but I'm glad that I was able to share what I could. Sadly, a lot of the stores that I grew up with have all disappeared, which made me look back at the malls in the States. Despite being more eventful and halfway around the world, they too have stores that don't last forever. When you go there, make sure you remember them the same way as the stores in the States. A lot of these places hold just as many memories there as they do at home. I had a blast going to all these malls, but I never got a chance to share them with anyone else, and I hope that you enjoyed hearing about them. If you ever get the chance to go to Thailand, I hope you had just as much fun at these malls the same way I did. And that's all I have to say. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video, whenever that'll be.